Hello, everyone, and welcome to Shine Like a North Star. I have been a bit incognito lately because we moved from Illinois to San Antonio, and my schedule has just been off kilter to be able to connect with you. So, happy Cinco de Mayo if you're watching this live with me tonight. And if we catch you after, I hope that you did something to celebrate some of the cultural richness that that community brings to the United States and the world. Wanted to spend a little bit of time talking with you today about something that I'm hearing from several leaders in my coaching work. And my sort of translation of it comes from things being so shaken up over COVID. So leaders are talking to me about their sense of fulfillment in their roles. That's partly how they feel valued, partly the work that they're doing. Are we using their talents well? And I sort of see some underlying challenges with helping people really feel like they're rocking it in being able to help them identify your new work or the adjustments of the work. And yet we still want this sort of traditional, familiar path of growth and development. So let's talk through a little bit of just some strategies around that for all of us to just pause and think. So what are things that you love in work? I'd love someone to just chat in some comments. What do you love about work or structures of work? For example, I love autonomy. I love being able to just create my own schedule, line up with the people that feel like they're the best fit for me. So I see that there's somebody on live with us, which is awesome. I want to double check that my YouTube chat function is working because it hasn't always been up and running. So I think that this is a new add-on that they have, if I'm not mistaken. So love to hear from you. What's something that you love in a work environment? Is it the people? Is it the structure? For me, as I say, it's autonomy. I love being able to experiment with different things. If I had to go in and do training, I remember a couple of years ago, I applied for this job and they wanted me to take their canned curriculum and deliver it verbatim throughout the organization. Ugh, terrible sense of autonomy. And in the end, they said you're overqualified for this. I'm like, gosh, I've been teaching and training for 25 years at the time, leadership work. No, I don't need your canned program. I humbly think that I might be able to tweak it to make it even better. And so that autonomy is just really important to me. So what are other things that you love about work? Daniel Pink talks about autonomy, mastery, and purpose. So let's talk about those three strands when we dive into the unsettling aspects of our roles given COVID. So in a lot of cases, incident command have taken over organizations to really help settle things. And in many cases, it's no longer as prevalent as it used to be. For a lot of the people that I work with, there are comments that when incident command came in to help and provide the structure that we needed in chaos, especially in healthcare and education, right? Other people making a lot of decisions to ensure our safety. It felt like the leaders who prior to incident command had quite a bit of autonomy in making decisions. And then incident command came in and had to be, every big or small decision sort of had to be vetted through this incident command entity, which was frustrating for the leaders that used to have that autonomy and they no longer do. Right? When we think of mastery, many of our roles have shifted in as COVID has morphed our work environments. So what does that look like for you, right? What does the mastery look like when your targets have changed? So one strategy to sort of deal with that is really get clear on what are the new metrics that your organization is using to kind of measure success. I know in one organization I work with, their year-end evaluations, they just said, we're not doing them this year. It's been crazy with COVID. Just love on each other. Let's get through this time. Well, for some people, that's, is a gift. And for other people, that doesn't really give me a sense of mastery. What are you looking from me to be able to know that I'm hitting the target? So autonomy, mastery, and the third one is purpose. Lots of organizations have shifted some of their purpose, you think of just high level, right? Restaurants, right? They used to be dine-in. It was the dine-in customer experience. Now, lots of restaurants are still drive-through only. Well, that's a different purpose, right? We're there to give people the picnic food, get their food and get it out, versus the dine-in experience, right? How do we make the food hotter longer? What sort of containers make the most? I mean, just logistically, it's a whole new world, right? So when we think of autonomy, mastery, and purpose, those things really drive at our happiness. So, think of purpose too. Like, you have a reason for being. I was sitting in on a strategy meeting earlier with a team, and one of their resilience things was just like chime in a motto or a purpose that you have. For me, it's I am a bridge. Like, it's just all the consulting work I do. I really want to help people get from point A to point B, C, D, E, F. It doesn't matter really in the trajectory of sophisticated or really elementary beginnings. I just love being a bridge. That's my motto. So when we think of that, what's your motto? And being a bridge, how can you think about autonomy, mastery, and purpose around your motto, right? Your purpose. So if I'm a bridge, then I'm going to look for opportunities to help people. That servant leadership side of things, that's the autonomy, right? I'm going to try to do that. Mastery, I might then reflect and sort of self-determine if my support has really helped people grow into their next bridge spot, if you will. So I'm sympathetic and empathetic to the leaders that I'm coaching recently that are just like struggling. Things are still up in the air, and it's creating a certain degree of dissatisfaction. And what I'm sort of challenging us to do is to pull back and think, okay, so in my work, regardless of the job I'm actually doing, right? Because we know that jobs and criteria and visions and mission statements and all that is going to continue to morph as we pull through COVID. So if I had my dream job, what would my autonomy look like? What would my mastery look like? And what would my purpose look like? And in this weird space, how can I set myself up to make sure that those three needs are fulfilled? Because the reality is, our leaders are trying to figure it out too. Like, let's say that you're somebody who's maybe just feeling this unsettledness around your role. It's shifted. Things are crazy. You may not feel the value and the love like you used to before COVID. Well, what's your leader's clarity on your role? My guess is your leader doesn't really know much about the role either, because we're all making sense with crazy COVID time, right? So drive it yourself is my point, right? Decide, what does autonomy look like for you? Mastery, purpose. And as your job is shifting and shuffling and kind of up in the air and the dust really hasn't settled yet as we build whatever the new reality is from this, you drive it. You drive it. I think you have more autonomy than you may realize, because your leader doesn't know exactly what it looks like either. So rather than waiting for the dust to settle and someone else telling you, take that initiative. Do some reflection, do some journaling, talk to some friends, peers, coworkers, family members, dogs, whatever, to really get clear on what are you wanting out of your work environment, and leverage this opportunity of unsettling environment to really leverage your talents. I love that Eisenhower expression, never waste a good crisis, right? Leverage it. You're the whole package already. Figure it out. Lean into it. Get clear. Autonomy, mastery, and purpose. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next week, 6 o'clock Central Time on Shine Like a North Star.